After an incredibly exciting opening 50 days of this year's indoor track and field season, one thing has become undeniable, and that's that Cole Hocker is the new greatest distance runner on the planet, and honestly, it's not even close. After an amazing rise to Olympic glory in the 2024 season and yet another successful global gold medal in the 2025 season, Cole has somehow emerged in 2026 with even more of an aura, more speed, more power. This man is the epitome of the ideal hybrid athlete that you simply do not want to race against. Hocker's journey from high school champion to the collegiate champion to a national champion and now a global gold medalist is a beautiful tale of consistent improvements and endless determination. But now that Cole has reached this perceived pinnacle in our sport, just how fast is he, and how does he compare with many of the all-time greats? Well, he's even faster than many thought. A few months ago, we took a closer look at the 2025 World Championships in the 5,000 in Tokyo, a competitive race that saw a total of 5 runners breaking 13 minutes for this championship. This race had all of the drama, from Jakob Ingebrigtsen fading over the final 400 to a massive kicking stampede over the final lap, but emerging as the clear and obvious winner with an unbelievable final 400 was none other than Cole Hocker, who won this race with a final 800 of 154, and he finished this 5,000 in 12 minutes, 58.30 seconds. Cole's racing strategy and finishing speed here was completely off the charts. In fact, for the final 100 meters, no athlete broke 13 seconds for this final split. Well, except for Cole Hocker, who not only broke 13, but he managed a final 100 of 12.49. Compared to the other splits here, this basically looks like a statistical anomaly. Cole's finishing speed has been a devastating tool against his competition for years now, but what he just proved in 2026 is that he is really just getting started. At the 2026 ASICS Sound Running Invite in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Hocker broke the indoor American record in the mile with a time of 3:54.94, taking down Yard Nagusa's previous mark of 3:46.63. This time was obvious proof that Hocker has truly arrived as the best in the world. But what many don't know is that Hocker ran this race in quite the dramatic way. Through the halfway point of this mile, Hocker had achieved incredible splits, crossing 809 meters in 1 minute 54.23, which equates to an opening 800 right around 153 to 153.5. And from this point, all the way to the finish line, a full 800 meters of running, Hocker did something that we rarely see in track and field. From this halfway point to the finishing tape, Hocker was constantly accelerating through every 200-meter split, as his final 4 200s read as follows. He ran a 28.76, followed by a 28.12, and upon hitting the final 400, this is where Hocker turned on the jets, achieving 200 split times of 27.47, followed by a 27.33. Now, I make this recommendation often, but I want you to go to your local track at any point and try to run half of a lap in 27.33. This is absolutely flying, and to do it after running 1,400 meters at this kind of tempo is just ridiculous. This constant acceleration all the way to the tape from 800 to go is something that we just do not see. But from 2 of the all-time greats, we have seen something like this in the past, as Hicham El Guerrouj did this in the 2004 Olympics to win his very first Olympic gold, and we also saw Jakob Ingebrigtsen do this in the 2024 European Champs. But these 2 performances were outdoors, so when it comes to indoor running, have we ever seen something like this? Well, I'm honestly not sure if this has ever happened, at least not at this magnitude. If we go back to Jakob Ingebrigtsen's indoor mile, where he ran his world record of 3:45.14, we see a very different race from what Cole Hocker just achieved. Now, through 800, Jakob did achieve a split of about a second and a half faster than Cole Hocker, as he ran a time of 152.55 through 800, and Cole had a time of around 154. following this opening 800, they both achieved split times in the 1200 of 248.38 around Cole's split of around 250 or so, meaning that at this point, Jakob was actually putting on more and more distance over Cole. Clearly, Jakob's early tempo was much more ambitious in comparison to Hocker's race here, but check out this final 400, as Cole made up substantial ground on Jakob, with 200 splits of 27.47 and 27.33 versus Jakob's final 200s of 28.3 and 28.2. For each of these final 200s, Hocker put more than half of a second on Jakob. But if we look beyond just the 200s, we actually have an even more specific split time that we can look at here. Because on both athletes' World Athletics pages, they both have their official 1500 split times listed. And if we look at their mile finish, we can see just how fast this final stage truly was. And to the surprise of nobody, Hocker was significantly faster, as Jakob ran his final 109 meters in 15.51, and Cole ran his final 109 in 15.14. In just 100 meters, Hocker closed 0.37 seconds on Jakob, meaning that if this race were even one lap longer, I am fairly confident that Hocker would have caught Jakob quite easily. What Cole is doing right now is setting a brand new standard for running excellence. In addition to going completely undefeated this year in the indoor season, he's also changing the entire makeup of the history books, as he's now ranked at number 2 all-time in the indoor 3000, where he ran a time of 7:23.14. He's now ranked at number 2 all-time in the indoor mile with his 3:45. And for the outdoor 15, he's ranked number 8 all-time. And according to Hocker, he can still go much faster. I'm not entirely sure what Cole's next race is set to be. Perhaps it's another race in Virginia, or maybe it's the World Indoor Champs taking place later this year in March. But either way, as this season continues, Cole is going to be very, very hard to beat this year, as he not only has the finishing speed of an all-time great, but he now has the endurance to match many of the best runners in history. And with these two tools in his running arsenal, he is going to be an absolute stud this year. I'm calling it. Lastly, and this is something that many people have commented on, so I figured I would do it myself, but after Cole ran his 3:45, he made the bold statement that he should be able to run a 3:42 at some point in his career. He didn't point out exactly when this should or could happen, he just mentioned it in passing. And while it sounds crazy to hear someone saying that they should be able to run a 3:42, that is the new standard of running. Cole's 3:45 indoors translates to some crazy speed outdoors. I mean, just look at what it converts to in both the 1500 and the 1 mile run. And while these World Athletics scores are not completely and easily transferable, it does give you a good idea at the potential Cole Hocker has. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.